This is Zodiac speaking. That is how the Zodiac killer would open all of his letters, taunting police and terrorizing California. He had no mercy, he had no empathy, and he killed as he pleased. One letter he wrote to the newspaper, he said this. He said, "This is a Zodiac speaking. Up until the end of October, I have killed 7 people. I have grown rather angry with the police for their telling lies about me. So I shall change away the collecting of slaves. I shall no longer announce to anyone when I commit my murders. They shall look like routine robberies, killings of anger, and a few fake accidents, etc. The police shall never catch me because I've been too clever for them." And you want to know something? They never caught him. And as I'm reading this book, it's Zodiac by Robert Graysmith, who was a cartoonist turned true crime writer. Basically, he did a lot of the work for the investigation. Oh yeah, sorry, I got distracted. But Zodiac never got caught. He was interviewed by police a couple of times. He was suspected of being the killer, but no evidence was actually ever brought until at the end. They finally found some DNA evidence that they possibly could link to him. But he died of a heart attack before they could ever charge him with anything. So until this day, Zodiac is still wanted. In 2004, San Francisco actually closed their case, which was the Paul Stein case, right? They closed that case. The rest of the case is still open in California to this day. But the letter that, or the portion of the letter I just read to you by Zodiac, took about basically he was tired of the police mocking him, of them lying about him according to him. And what he meant was the police are basically saying, you're a very mentally ill person, you're very smart, but we're going to catch you eventually. They were kind of slightly derogatory towards him, right? They weren't really giving him the attention, the credit that he believed he deserved, right? One example was the Paul Stein case, which was the one that looked like a routine robbery, a freak accident, right? He started that, not taunting them anymore style. Paul Stein was that first one he did that they know of, or that they linked to him, right? And he basically, what he did was he got in, drove his car to a certain point, got in the train, went to this area, got in the cab. Paul Stein took him to, I believe it was called Cherry Street, Cherry in Washington, I believe was the area. And then he noticed there was a man walking his dog, so he told him to go forward one more block and then park there, put the car in park, brake on everything, and then put the pistol to right here, just behind the ear, close to the chin, right? I believe it was just past the ear, right here, some here, over here. And then he fired, and guy died instantly, right? Basically blew open his skull. And then he ran away, and a radio car had stopped just a few minutes afterwards, but they were told they were looking for a black male. When in reality, it was actually a white male who had just done it. But they basically said, "Hey, have you seen anybody suspicious? Anybody walking by here looking weird, carrying a gun or anything?" And the guy said, "Yeah, I saw some guy walking by or running in front of me with a gun just a few minutes ago." So they leave him alone, and then go and look for the guy he supposedly had seen. But if they had just stopped and just talked to the guy, hadn't come to the car or something, they would have seen him covered in blood because he just shot somebody in the head, and guts and blood going everywhere, right? But they didn't. And the San Francisco Police Department denied this ever happening. They nope, even to this they deny it. But what happened was those two patrolmen in the radio car actually came up to the task force and said, "Hey, we actually saw the Zodiac and we didn't stop him," right? So a new sketch was put out of a corrected version of the Zodiac, And the police basically said, hey, we have an updated sketch. This is what the guy actually looks like, but never admitted where they got it from. Like I said, to this day, they still deny it. So it's very interesting. The Zodiac killer is still not conclusive to this day, right? I mean, the strongest suspect everybody believes is Arthur Allen Lee. He's in the evidence. There's a lot of things pointing towards him. He's in the areas. There's people who saw him, but he's never been proven guilty. And until that day, you know, we have presumed innocence, right? That which is what the justice system provides. So, you know, he's never been caught. And he's been eluding police now. He started murder in 69, so 31, 37, 57 years. The Zodiac case is still open. And what's funny to me is the police basically were like, oh, we're going to catch you. You're not smart. We're going to apprehend you. And I just laughed at him like, you guys have not caught this guy 57 years later. You can't even catch him when he was murdering, when he was still alive. Well, assuming it's Arthur Allen Lee, right? But I don't know. I just find the Zodiac case to be hilarious. And the fact that the police just fumbled in so many ways. I could talk about this so many different ways that they messed up. But that's it for today, guys. God bless you. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next one. Make sure you subscribe. You're not missing out. And stay true to yourself. Stay true to your crime. And I'll see you next one.